Hey, it's Zuriel Kaim, author of the All Day Energy Diet. I hope you're enjoying the book. In this quick little video, I'm actually going to share what I believe to be the #1 dieting mistake that, no matter people following my program or anyone else's continue to make. And I'm going to get to that right here. Avoid this in just a second. So stick with me for just a few moments. We're going to get right into this. So this #1 mistake, I'm also going to share 2 really cool secrets that have nothing to do kind of indirectly with the foods that you eat. And if you hear any kind of walking on the floor, that's my dog Jax. So that's what that is. Anyways, I've got my iPhone here. I'm going to tell you why that's important in just a second. But first of all, let's get right into this. The first thing, the biggest mistake that you want to avoid has to do with a common question that I get asked quite a bit. If you're in our Facebook group and you're kind of engaged in the community, you'll see that a lot of people tend to ask the question, like, do I have to stick to this to the letter? I don't have this vegetable. What am I supposed to do now? Or I don't have these ingredients, or I missed the day yesterday. Oh my God, like, is my life over? Do I have to start again at the beginning? So let me write down this word and then I'll share it with you. So don't watch, okay? Just look away for a second. Okay, hopefully you can see that. It says perfection. So this is the #1 dieting mistake that I think millions of people make, and it's not just with diets, it's with life in general. I think there's a lot of people out there who are seeking perfection, and if this is you, that's okay. I was in this boat as well for a long period of time. When I was playing soccer at an amateur level as well as professionally, I was very hard on myself. I was always berating my performances, and I didn't understand why I felt so miserable all the time. I wonder why. So it was, I would have like the most amazing game, but if just one thing went wrong, like if I didn't, do one thing as well as it could have been, it was just like, whatever. It was just like a wash. So this notion of perfection is really important because it speaks more to us as individuals more than what we're doing. So when we're seeking perfection, what that's essentially saying is that nothing is ever good enough. And nothing is ever good enough because we are not good enough. So obviously there's a lot of kind of internal work that has to go on here. But anyways, perfection with dieting is a big mistake because the thing is, if you're trying to be perfect all the time, you don't allow yourself to be human. And first of all, the notion of perfection doesn't exist. Nothing is perfect. We can only strive to be better or strive for excellence. But perfection what is perfection? Who defines perfection? I think it's unfortunate that in sports, for instance, like figure skating or gymnastics, even Dancing with the Stars, for instance, everyone is rated on a score of 0 to 10. So 10 assuming that's perfection, and then that leads to a whole other kind of way of thinking about everything has to be perfect and done just right. And when we take that into the world of eating, that's a very unhealthy way of looking at things, because you have to understand that if you're following the All Day Energy Diet, you'll notice that, for instance, according to the All Day Energy Diet food spectrum on page 72, you'll notice at the bottom here, it says leisure foods, okay? So leisure foods are foods that allow you to kind of go off course a little bit. Maybe this is pizza, even though I talk about, things like gluten not being very good for us. But if you still want to be human, and I'm not saying that you can't follow this for the rest of your life, because you can, it's a very doable program for anybody. But the whole idea is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to try to be perfect, because you are amazing just the way you are. And it's all about just kind of improving incrementally to a point where you feel great, and not seeking this unachievable horizon, which is perfection. So with these leisure foods, for instance, let's say you have 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 21 meals. If we take 10% of those meals, so 2 meals during the week you allow as kind of cheat meals or leisure meals. Maybe it's going out to dinner with friends or going for a hamburger, something that whatever is going to jive for you. And I'm not saying you should do this all the time, but if this is going to help you maintain or sustain this type of lifestyle, then that's the key. I don't eat perfectly all the time. And again, I don't think of myself as vegan or paleo or anything. It's really, I consider myself a healthitarian. I make food choices that improve my health and improve my vitality, and that's what I consider to be the foundation of the all-day energy diet. So it's predominantly plant-based, but that doesn't mean I'm vegan. That doesn't mean I'm espousing or condoning veganism. I believe that everybody on this planet will be better off by eating more plant-based foods But if you're paleo, you can totally do this. You can add in your meats. If you're vegan, you can totally follow this as well. So, but again, remember, it's not about perfection. There will be days where you don't feel like, you're not feeling that great, right? There are times where if you don't have a plan in place, there's going to be some ups and downs. And that's why having a plan, a meal plan, a structured set of recipes can make a huge difference for you in terms of maintaining what you want to do. The other thing with perfectionism is that, it's giving yourself freedom to, and this is going to lead into my second point here, is giving yourself freedom to find what's going to work for you. So the second point that I want to talk about is understanding that this is a plan that I've laid out for you that makes a tremendous difference in terms of your health. But let's say we've had people in our Facebook community talk about how they don't feel that great unless they have a piece of fish or a piece of steak with their meals. So I said, you know what, that's great. That's very, very great that you were aware of that and noticed that, because that's the key. That's the first secret to maintaining amazing eating habits and great health in the long term is awareness. So even if you're following this and you're following all these, whatever program you're following, if you find that the program is working great for you, awesome, continue doing that. But if you're finding that something is just a little bit off and you feel better by incorporating something in, and I'm not saying you should incorporate things like caffeine or sugar and stuff like that, but generally healthy foods like a good quality grass-fed piece of meat, then totally cool. Just understand that you want to kind of maintain those practices within the guidelines of the program. So you don't want to be having meat 7 times a day, 7 days a week, because there's obviously ramifications of doing so. But if you feel better by having less food or more food within the guidelines of the program, then that's great. Again, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding what is going to work for you within the parameters of the guidelines of a program, whether it's the all-day energy diet or anything else, and trying to stay to those parameters because those are proven to produce amazing results. Now, everyone's going to respond a little bit differently, but if you can stick within the parameters and kind of mix and match and kind of do some things that are going to work for you in the long run, that's what I'm kind of more excited about, right? For you in terms of your long-term results. So that's the first secret, okay? So we talked about the number one mistake to avoid, which is perfectionism. Okay, you can't be perfect. Nobody is perfect. There is no perfect diet. The perfect diet, I believe, is the one you don't even know that you're on. So by not even thinking about being perfect, by not counting calories without doing all that nonsense, like points, calories, we don't need to do that, okay? And I'm sure you're sick and tired of that as well. So it's about eating natural foods, real foods, eating to the point of fullness, and then you're done, right? That's just being very intuitive. And that's why I think keeping something like a food journal on a daily basis where you can document your journey is really important. So you can note how you feel before and after meals, and you can look back over that and say, okay, well, I had this for lunch and I felt great afterwards. I had this for dinner on this day and I felt a little bit tired afterwards. So you can kind of start to, almost like a detective, bring stuff together and make sense of it. So the second secret that I have for you, if I can find my iPhone, has to do with my iPhone. So it doesn't matter if you're an Android or iPhone, I just have this. So here's the key. There's been some interesting research that shows that taking pictures of your food can improve your compliance with whatever healthy eating plan that you're on. So if you're one of those hundreds of millions of people, like we all are, who have the best of intentions, but then for whatever reason those cravings and those moments of weakness creep in, and it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get a donut, or I'm gonna have something not as healthy as I should. So one of the cool things that kind of ties in with this first secret that I mentioned, the food journaling, and kind of being aware of your food, is documentation. So you can document your food intake. Let's say for dinner you had a piece of salmon with a big green salad. Here's an even more powerful kind of next step to that, is take out your phone or a camera and take a picture of your food. Now what you can do is you could go all detective, it depends on your personality here, but you can go all detective-like, kind of, one of those detectives trying to hunt out a serial killer or, take down the mob, and they're trying to piece together all these missing pieces, right? So who's at the head here, and or whatever. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyways, what you can do is you can take a picture for your meals. So this would be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or a snack. And you can post this. You can have like a chart like this if you want to get all technical. Some people do, some people don't. You can post these pictures on a piece of paper like this on your fridge. Put them on your fridge because every time you see that, it's like a vision board. It's a reminder of the great things that you're doing. The other thing too is that if, let's say you feel like going to McDonald's, well, you're going to take a picture of a burger and fries, and just by taking the picture, that act of taking the picture, like it drives your consciousness into your decision. And when you take a picture of burger and fries, now you're kind of on the hook. Now you're saying, okay, well, I mean, you don't have to take the picture, but that would kind of be cheating on yourself. So there's no point in doing that. But taking the picture makes a huge difference because now you're accountable to that picture. To take things up to the next level is if you're in our Facebook community, if you're obviously a reader of the book, you should be, is take a picture of your food and put it into the Facebook group. Post it online. Say, hey guys, here's what I'm having for breakfast. Here's what I'm having for lunch. Here's what I'm having for dinner. And then when you're not posting as often, people might be like, hey, where did Joe Blow's pictures go? You know, we've been really enjoying his posts. And all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe it's because you fell off the bandwagon or you've been kind of eating foods you're not too proud of. And having this accountability can kind of bring you back on track. So take a picture of your food, post it online for added accountability. Get somebody to be accountable to. Find somebody in the group or find somebody professionally that you pay, whether it's a nutritionist or even just somebody you pay money to. It could be your family member, someone you're accountable to that says, for the next week, for the next 2 weeks, for the next month, I'm going to take a picture of every meal that I make. I'm going to post it on the fridge, or I'm going to post it online. I'm going to post it on my blog, somewhere where I can be accountable for my actions. Okay? So really important, because remember guys, willpower, we only have so much of it. And the reality is that our environment is always going to be more powerful than willpower. So you want to set yourself up to win. You want to set the environment up to support you as best as possible. And doing things like seeking perfectionism is not going to help. And relying on sheer discipline and willpower is never a lasting type of endeavor. So think about how you can set up your environment. Bring the right foods into your kitchen. Remove the garbage foods. That's step one. Step two is obviously find an accountability partner. Find somebody who you can be accountable to professionally in terms of how you pay them, or at least on a free basis where you can post pictures online and keep accountable that way. And third is think about having obviously a goal and a deadline. So the goal might be, losing 20 pounds by, 2 months from now, whatever it might be. But goals, we're very goal-oriented as human beings. So you want to set a goal and commit to achieving that within a certain deadline. Now, obviously, there's going to be parameters that are out of your control. There's physiological things that might prevent you from losing the weight that you want to lose within a specific time frame. But the idea is to move towards a bigger future. So having that goal is going to help you, and a reason why do you want to achieve that goal? And along with these accountability tools will help you stay on track towards moving towards that goal. So anyways, I hope this video has found you well. Again, the number one mistake we want to avoid when it comes to dieting and weight loss is seeking perfectionism. It just doesn't exist, and it leads to obsessive types of behavior and eventually ultimately failure, because you can only fail, right? Because there's no perfection. It's like chasing the horizon. It's always there. You never get closer to it. Keeping yourself accountable in terms of awareness, using a food journal, noting how you feel after certain meals, taking a picture of your foods, kind of posting them online or on your fridge, and obviously setting a goal is very, very important. So just wanted to share that with you as a reader of the All Day Energy Diet. I think these tools, again, they don't deal specifically with the foods you eat, but these are kind of meta concepts that will help you enjoy and make the most use of this book, and for that matter, any kind of diet program you're following. If you don't have the book, you can obviously go to Amazon and get it, and get one for your friends and family as well while you're there. So anyways, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you found this well, and take action on it today. I'll see you soon.